Well, hello and welcome back. This is episode 46. My wife actually has leadership capabilities. She's assertive, sure of herself, and a fast thinker. And me, of course, on the flip side of these attributes, I'm neither of those things. So I'm getting my butt kicked all over the place and she's always bossing me around. And like any other prisoner, or excuse me, husband, I get pissed off at times and revolt, but it doesn't last too long. And I've accepted the role as well as I can. I'm actually getting used to it. But you have to wonder, does she enjoy playing the kingpin and or does she respect me less for going along with my role? Well, who cares? Next up, I believe that about 90 to 95% of contractors, at least in our area, are drinkers. We had one several years ago that was definitely getting a buzz on every time he worked on our bathroom. He's a good guy, and one night I called about a question and he could hardly hold a conversation with me and he was slurring his words. But I have to admit, being a contractor is no easy task. The work is never done, and hey, if they can get the job done to our satisfaction, I'll gladly provide the alcohol. I read something a couple of years ago that to me may have been the most meaningful question I've ever heard in decades, and it was this: is the world now unmanageable? I wish I could find this article, but the writer leaned toward the doomsday response of no, and I have to agree. I feel that our world has reached that tipping point in which governing the population of nearly 8 billion people has grown beyond our capability, along with all the total lack of control and restraint that we have concerning climate control and all of the crap that we produce. I sincerely hope that he or she and I are wrong, and I will say no more of this. And I read something a while ago, and it said all it said was, but inside, no one knows. No one knows, not me, certainly. I thought that was interesting. Remember, it's not whether you can throw a punch, it's whether you can take a punch, and it's not paranoia if you're right. So, a Toronto Blue Jays fan caught a home run ball hit by New York Yankees Aaron Judge on May 3rd in Toronto. And the guy, without hesitation, handed the ball over to a young boy who happened to be wearing Aaron Judge's shirt, number 99. And the boy thanks him for it and then throws his arms around him and appears to cry. Now, if that was me, I would have probably told him, I think I'm going to keep the ball. I've been coming here for years and it really means something to me. I'm sorry. I'm only kidding, of course. That's something Larry David would pull. While I was discussing some strategies with one of our financial reps, he mentioned that the most difficult aspect of handling your money is the age old question: how long are you going to live? I'm 68, my wife is 66, and who knows? There are advantages to living into your 80s and 90s, but it's not so good if you run out of money. So, in line with this question, I told the rep that we could solve this quandary very simply. I will choose the date of my demise and abide to it, and I would get back to him with an exact date. But of course, I haven't chosen my date yet, and I'm thinking of backing out on it because I don't want to die. While watching one of Guy Fieri's shows, Guy's Ranch Kitchen, where the theme of this particular cook-off was offal, and that's spelled OFFAL, which is the entrails and internal organs of the animals that are used as food. Not a fan of offal, and as I told my wife, offal is awful. The debacle of executive orders from state governors attempting to eliminate critical race theory is an absolute joke, a farce of education and truth. Education and learning is not supposed to be hidden. It is supposed to be uncovered, discussed, and evaluated. They're trying to whitewash historical truths and injustices that their elders legislated, and this is in the direct opposition of what education stands for: uncovering these truths and realities to everyone in order to prevent these brutal inequities from occurring again. This is a grand farce, a legal absurdity that goes against all logic, as they need to run and hide their barbarism and inhumanity with a cloak. In other words, authorize and enact a lie about history. So we should suppose that slavery never existed. Life is supposed to be expository, not hidden and stashed away because it's disturbing. And what exactly are they trying to hide and why? What a bunch of unmitigated bullshit in the highest order. And lastly, I will end with Samuel Jackson. The very talented actor has created a new word that should appear in the English dictionary, be it the Webster or Oxford dictionaries. And the word is, and I will spell it out, Motherfucker. And for all of you who are familiar with him, this is a word that he uses quite frequently to indicate anyone he's referring to, be it a friend, villain, anyone. He will use this noun. And no one I've heard or met uses it so well. My estimate is that he uses it in every other sentence when he's talking, and maybe even more. And I will end here.